you've all had a moment to catch your breath, let's jump on in to Game 2. Draft starting in just a moment, and what a Game 1 we had. Betty, Kagel, tell me what we feel Fnatic needs to do to adapt coming into Game 2.
Well, I don't think that the drafts were necessarily the problem. I think that this ultimately came down to a lot of what happened in the mid-game with WoW. G2 were constantly finding ways to catch Noah off guard, the way in which the positioning of Razork and Trymbi were on the map. G2 had great information. Kagel highlighted it early in the game. This deep vision that they consistently had was so valuable at being able to find these picks. But right now, we're looking at these bans. Taliyah still up and available. I feel like G2 really need to consider taking that away with the Trist and Azir both up as well.
That's the thing. Tristana, Azir, Taliyah, Rell, Maokai rather instead of Rell. So there's 4 champions open. If you ban one mid laner, what you're saying is if you first pick Maokai, we can take things like the Azir away. We can take things like the Taliyah away. So Fnatic, I think the first pick Taliyah might be the best, but the problem is they're blue side, so they can't really hard flex it on red. Getting Taliyah on red side is a nightmare to deal with. And we'll see if G2 want to pick it. We haven't seen much Taliyah from Yike at all. Caps, we know that he can play it, but I think they need to take it away here. They need to stop that red side flex. I also think Fnatic should look at Xayah 2-3. I think this Aphelios, I'm happy with it. I don't think Noah played exceptionally bad that game. I think his jungle support just wasn't on mid-wave timers, so he just got really exposed when catching waves, and G2 punished that mistake. So he needs to be more in sync. Did get some nice early 2v2 kills, but yeah, it's on G2 now. Do they want to early rotate the Renekton denial? Poppy's open as Wunder's response.
Looks like the Maokai is going to be the choice. Wow. I admit, like, this is what Razork loves, being able to play these scaling mages into these more teamfight focused. The early game, he can really run away with it. We saw that delayed invade, or the control that he had over the bot side jungle from level 1 didn't quite pan out in terms of that early gank, but this is a great opportunity for him to get huge advantages over Yike in the jungle.
I think Renekton Xayah 2-3 for Fnatic's nice, especially if G2 go for Azir, but Jace is open. I wonder if they're going to go some Jace Maokai draft. Yeah, there's the Jace. So I think Renekton Xayah could work. Xayah struggles into poke, but that's Fnatic comfort. Can alternatively just drop. I think dropping mid's good because you're playing Taliyah and you can flex till 4-5. So AD top really screams to me here unless they want to early rotate Northwest. So Renekton Xayah makes sense. It's good comfort, but yeah, G2's poke comp is going to be super hard to deal with. So they might reconsider it and play for a later on something like an Ornn, you know, something more hard engage. Are they going to go for it? There's the Renekton.
Okay. And as much as Wunder has had a great return to the LEC stage, we have to remember he has only been here for a couple of weeks again, so having comfort sometimes just usurps every other potential advantage that you can find in a draft. Renekton, once again, obviously Wunder had a great performance against Broken Blade, again on it in Game 1.
This lock-in for Syndra is very telling for Fnatic. Yeah. We've seen Humanoid have a fairly limited champion pool, largely consisting of Tristana, Azir, and Jace being his main go-tos, with G2 showcasing in Game 1, pinching that pool, putting caps on the Azir. Game 2 now, they've prioritized taking the Jace away from him. You can see that he's being forced onto this Syndra, and G2 is saying, we're happy for you to do that because we have ways to deal with it.
Olaf top for BB. Oh, that is an amazing pick into Renekton Taliyah. 1-6, it's a bit risky, but after that, you're gonna run straight through them. Double mage against Olaf is a struggle, so things like Liandry's would be important for both of them. Yeah, so G2, poke comp and an Olaf. This is gonna be... Fnatic have got good champs for their players, but this is not gonna be an easy draft for them considering they have the blind pick support and their bot lanes going 4-5. Yes, G2's is as well, but they can first select AD, right? So if they take away things like the Alistar, I think Braum might have to be taken away from Fnatic to stop the Kog'Maw Braum. And then Nautilus, Rakan, they can just take their pick of the litter.
I wonder if G2 will look towards the Xayah ban as well, just to removing that comfort from Noah.
Yeah, Kai'Sa ban I was going to say as
Kai'Sa
well.
makes sense as well, yeah. Totally agree with you, Kagel. Obviously in Game 1, Noah did struggle a little bit. He had a really good early start, 3-1, but ever since G2 just started to isolate him in that mid lane, became very hard for the AD carry to play the game.
I think they have a small problem here. Yeah, so they ban Alistar, Nautilus, they ban Braum. Do you ban Kai'Sa or Rakan now? Because if you ban Rakan, they pick Kai'Sa and counter support. Yep. If you ban Kai'Sa, they pick Rakan and last pick AD. So this is why I'm worried for Fnatic dropping bot lane to 4-5, because as much as you'll get Xayah, I think it's the support matchup which becomes a bit of a pain. G2's other option is to pick Kai'Sa when Rakan's open and play Maokai Kai'Sa bot lane into Rakan. Yep. And then last pick some kind of jungler.
I mean, they also have the Lissandra into the Rakan as well.
The thing they could do here is Kai'Sa on 4, Maokai support into Rakan and pick Nocturne on 5. You know, they have this option which is really scary. Let's see what G2 does. Rakan blind here makes the most sense with the current support bans. But does G2 have that little trap in there?
There's always the possibility of the Ezreal. If they want to kind of leverage their range, have more poke at their disposal. Do they want to prioritize their support? Do they want to prioritize the AD carry?
I think they have Maokai support Nocturne on 5 here. I'd be a bit scared if I was Fnatic blinding Rakan.
And Mickey, obviously, the prototypical inventive support. We saw him bring out Lissandra earlier on in the split here.
I mean,
Xayah, though, for Noah.
do you think they're more likely to move the Maokai to support rather than just put the Lissandra there and pick something else in mid?
They could also do the Lissandra, you're right. Yeah, that was a really good pick for them. But I like the creativity of having Nocturne with poke. If Kai'Sa goes AP, you don't really lose out on that damage share with triple AD topside.
Nocturne into Xayah is a bit miserable, but aside from that...
It's a really good matchup into Taliyah, though. It's a really good way of shutting her down.
Enough poke on the rest of your team to get the Xayah low before you have to go in with that paranoia.
You can see the discussion right now.
I think Fnatic are kind of aware of this Rakan blind. Do they just take the risk? G2 have set up this Rakan blind for them. It's very uncommon to ban Nautilus Alistar and give Rakan.
Yep.
So they have something up their sleeve. They must be thinking about how they're going to go for it.
Okay,
so G2,
so what's their answer?
is it Lissandra support or is it Nocturne on 5 Maokai support? It's Lissandra support, you're
support,
right.
okay.
Yeah. I think G2 are ready for that Rakan blind bait that they had set up.
This is the biggest problem with playing G2, though. We talked about it extensively. The desk talked about it. They just have answers for everything. And again, we go back to the first half of Fnatic's draft. This priority on Syndra, it also goes to show G2 understands by attacking Humanoid in the draft, they also get to dictate some of their big strengths in the draft as well. So G2 are going to walk away from this draft feeling very good.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think itemization for Fnatic is really tough. When they have a poke champ like Jace and Olaf, you know, very kind of high damage, base damage or lethality for Jace in that case. And then they have Lissandra Maokai, you really need tenacity. But Fnatic's comp well-rounded. Taliyah Renekton, a great top jungle combo.
Yeah.
Xayah Rakan, great bot lane. Syndra is a great mid-game champ to get you ahead and find picks. Their comp overall for Fnatic, it makes sense. It's just G2 always have responses to these things that shut down everything you want to do. So game one, very stock standard, but here's the G2 we've known throughout the year.
I will definitely say that Fnatic's comp give them a lot of tools to fight in the early game. If it is going to be a lot of brawling, Xayah Rakan, incredibly powerful. Renekton, Taliyah, Kdra was talking about it, an easy lane that you can play through. Razork has more options, I think, than he did on the Maokai. Let's see if he can utilize these options to get a game back from G2.
I have to feel Fnatic are going to come back in this series. Doing it in a game like this is where you want it to happen. G2 taking on Fnatic. As much as G2 do have a tendency in Game 2 to bring something out a little bit spicy, thinking of the Evelynn for Yike, this Lissandra support is a known counter into Rakan. It makes it very difficult for him to ever actually do anything, because as soon as you jump in, you just get Ring of Frost or you get Frozen Tombed and you're locked up for quite a while. Mickey brought it out against the Mad Lions earlier on in the season finals, and G2 won that game in 20 minutes and 46 seconds.
Fairly swift then.
Yeah. Moderate.
I'm excited to see it once again in Mickey's hands. Game one was a bloodbath. Pretty much what everyone wants to see in G2 versus Fnatic. It is the rivalry here in Europe. And the arena has been nothing but electric throughout game one. Both G2 fans, Fnatic fans, just going wild at every single engagement.
Such a storied matchup between these two teams. Obviously, you know, you look back to when G2 joined the league all the way back in 2016. Ever since then, it has been, who's going to win? Is it G2 or is it Fnatic? And it's ebbed and it's flowed, but over the last 5 years or so, G2 have always come out the victors. Here we see Humanoid trading with Caps. Mickey and Hans Sama walking down towards the bottom lane.
Oh, he missed it.
Waiting, but he misses. Hans Sama can't quite land the knock-up. Now it's rooted, ignited, and needs to get away. Able to escape, that's his flash burnt early on.
Look at bot, look at mid. Fnatic already level 1 on the back foot. Caps got an incredible trade onto Humanoid as the Jace just auto-attacking him down.
Look at top as well, Kdra.
Yeah, Wunder started E. I think that's pretty smart. He shouldn't die, but the E start there, just making it so he can live. But the trade's on great. These lanes are not going to be easy for Fnatic. Razork has a tough task ahead of him. He's got a ward on his blue buff area as well, so G2 know exactly where he is. Fnatic could go for a risky play here. They could go for red Krugs into bot gank if Trimby can just look for the W onto Mickey if he oversteps. You can see how aggressive he's playing. There's no ward for G2 in the Tribush, so Razork could run around quickly and catch G2 off guard, but the problem is they're going to be at a level disadvantage on this bot side. I think it's Razork really wants to play for bot side camps.
Glacial
But Noah's
pass,
gonna
Bingo
have the
first,
flash
Noah
really.
cleanses immediately, Noah down to 100 HP. Trimby with a good double knocker, but no one from G2 was under tower.
And if Razork doesn't stay bot side here and clears his top camps, Yike's going to path down and dive them, so he has to try and get some lane push. He's going to look mid, but there's actually a... Is that a zombie ward
Yeah.
that's there already?
Razork.
Is he not going to... Does he not see it?
He must see it. There we are, things it out. And clears it, Wave pushing in. It was a good time to gank, but the zombie ward obviously stopping any advancement for Fnatic.
But look at what Yike's now doing with this information. They've littered the top side of Fnatic's jungle with wards. Razork is going to start on his wolves. Yike is going to know this. He's going to have the time. He has the smite up. Olaf also making his way down from the top lane means that this is an easy steal. G2 there looking for a play.
If he walks that blue, he's dead. He's dead.
Razork, no,
Locked
does he
up,
know?
chased.
He's got to be a little suspicious, right?
Razork, seismic shove back, but immediately locked up with a twisted advance, and he's dead. First blood to the Viking in the top lane.
Not spotting out that zombie ward was so crucial. It gave Yike all the information he needed with the push in top lane as well. Broken Blade and Yike, they find first blood and G2 on the board once again.
Yeah, they had that sweeper level 1 on Mickey. They get that zombie ward to slow Razork down. And they pull Broken Blade down from top side. Trimby, very low.
And Summer manages to flash and knock up the United Sigma, and Trimby's able to escape for the moment. And no one's going to get one in response. 1-1 in the bottom lane now. The AD carry starts a party, starts a fight. And Summer no mana means the heal back away.
He needs to crash the wave here, Noah. Razork's around. Yike is pinging bot side. I think they know that Talia's down here. Razork could flash over this wall and just full send it, but it's a bit tough. Doesn't have the information, doesn't know where Mickey is, so he'll help Noah get this wave in. Noah actually trying to take a recall there. Maybe thinking the wave. Yeah, it should eventually. So it's not the end of the world. I think it's kind of even, right, in a sense. A little slow push into it, but the next wave will help a bit.
Now Broken Blade with red buff and Wonder really with nowhere to go. Slice and dice away, still has the flash, but the undertow connects and Wonder when you're gonna flash because Broken Blade is hungry for a kill. A flash away from Wonder, no TP on him as well. Broken Blade can push this wave in.
You have to imagine. I mean, we've all seen Adam's Olaf. We know what it can do. Obviously a big inspiration for so many top laners picking up the champion as an answer into Renekton. And Broken Blade, one of the better top laners for Olaf that we have in Europe. Getting a bit of revenge from Wonder, but again, in the laning phase, Wonder really has come into his own. It feels like the more stage experience he's gotten, and he's gotten a fair amount of it now over the last 2 series, he's feeling good. Now, a lot of junglers hovering around the bot side of the map.
Lane gank is really good. Waves pushing into them. It's just a case of landing the Rakan W into the Talia CC, so maybe Fnatic can find this. It's just a case of whether they landed Razork.
I mean, such a big wave, though.
Stepping up a bit.
Oh, Razork.
Sidesteps that.
A little bit greedy, considering there's no flash on Hans. Only that supercharge is E to dodge away.
Yike needs to reset. He hasn't faced yet. He needs to spend that gold. It's a horror early game for Fnatic. They're losing every lane. They're getting pushed in. They have some vision in River there you can see on the bot side of the map, but that's going to get swept away soon. When Yike comes out of base, pings already towards that bot side to get some vision for Hans and Mickey, and it just feels like Razork doesn't have a lane to play through. Mid's tough. Bot side is losing. Can't really go top because Olaf will hit 6 soon. They just have to hold on at the moment.
If they can do that, obviously we've seen Razork in mid-game teamfights on this Talia just absolutely rip through his opposition. Did it yesterday against the Mad Lions alongside Wonder's Scion. Here, only level 4. A couple of camps down on Yike, who's already ticked over to that level 5. Might even be G2 here using their bot cryo to start up the first dragon of the game on the 6-minute mark.
TP will be committed from Caps, getting that quick base off, returns the lane. I mean, even after what was a pretty miserable trade for Humanoid in the mid lane matchups, he's done a great job of keeping the lane pretty neutral. This is the value of that Syndra pick. We'll see how valuable it will be later. You heard Kadril talking earlier in the draft about how Olaf into double mages. Great time for the Olaf, not so great a time for the mages. We'll see how Humanoid navigates that battle. But right now, TP now coming in from Humanoid. Mickey just offering some support for Caps in the mid lane.
Caps, Doran Shield, Mercury Treads. He's not dying really, is he? Doesn't have the phase rush, so can be exposed to those ganks, but yeah, the first strike will help when it comes to that poke and getting some extra gold. If I'm Razork right now, I'm not sure. Just double down in bot, it looks like.
I mean, we're thinking next objective is Herald, right? What options does Fnatic potentially have to answer that? Maybe they just accept sacrificing it and commit to funneling plates bot side. Maybe they do actually think that if they can get ahead on the objective, they can find a favorable fight. The question is, do you really want to fight this Olaf this early on, now that he's level 7 with the Tiamat completed?
Yeah, he can get top push here. The wave's bouncing into him, but with Tiamat and with his Qs, he just automatically collaterals the wave down anyway. So, yeah, I wonder, even in bouncing waves, cannot get the push on stacks, and Yike just has to secure bot side. I feel like it's a game state where, because you're losing so many lanes, if Razork shows top, your bot lane is annihilated. So he needs to stay in Fog of War, use pink wards, cover bot. You can see Yike's hovering. If Razork was to show, BB was looking in vision in bot side river, it would be lights out.
Yike is 6 already. Razork yet to get there. BB trading in the top lane with Wunder once again. Yike not yet spotted. Trimby stepping forward, Gleaming Quill. There's the Ring of Frost, and immediately Trimby's locked up and shut out. Nature's Grasp not quite going to connect, but another glacial path forward as Razork tries to join the fray. Hits level 6 of the Krugs, but can't get there in time to help his AD carry.
Look at Caps though, Razork sandwich. He might have to flash or ult away here.
There we are. Uses the ult to get out. Maybe he's the trade back in. I don't really think they have the damage as Mickey goes forward. Noah with a big cleanse. Flash away with the killer instinct from Hansama. The Prince Phenom finds 2 in Montpellier. Meanwhile, Humanoid and Cavs trading in the mid lane. Humanoid knocked away from the tower. Cavs low on mana. Humanoid trying to dodge everything he can. The shock blast not quite able to connect. And Humanoid escapes with his life.
The Rakan is really struggling against Maokai Lissandra. Trimby cannot move without these Mercury treads. He won't be able to move for the rest of the game when he looks to these looks towards these 3v3s, excuse me. So you'll see here, he just goes in, gets rooted up. There's nowhere for him to go. But it's just Fnatic. Razork's out, but they look for a turn with a little damage from the Taliyah, but it's the flash from Yike, and then the ult from Hans. They just both fall.
The response from G2, again, there's just zero hesitation from this team. They follow the calls to the letter. The collapse from Caps was so crucial. Another play doesn't quite work out in the mid lane, but look at this knockback from Razork. It just invites G2 in. Hansama with the ultimate secures himself a double kill. 3-0-1 now for the AD carry of G2.
BB just uses ult there, and we saw on the bottom left, Trimby flash Wing Caps with flash up. Caps just dodged it, wasn't in range for the knock-up, and yeah, G2 3,000 gold up. They've got the first dragon, they're moving towards Herald. Base is coming in from Fnatic. Humanoid actually stopping his reset. That basically means Herald's gone. So he's going to catch his mid-wave, calling up Trimby. Yeah, Fnatic have top push. Wunder has TP soon, but they can't contest.
Mickey even soaking up the mid lane XP just to guarantee that level 6. They do want to make sure they get this reset in though. Mickey going to stick around to make sure that Yike is safe. They don't have the sweeper up just yet. Instead, he's going to invest some deep control wards, get information as to where Razork is, but Fnatic are conceding this objective. They say it's not worth the fight. And so G2 should be able to secure this one. 5-1 in kills, 2.5k is the goal lead already. G2 from draft to laning to where we're at now, it's just been a one-sided dominance.
And oftentimes when Herald's being taken, you can cross-map, but Hans is going to run bot. He should be in time for the wave to get Static Shiv procced. But actually, Mickey's not there yet, so he's being very respectful, knowing that Razork's down here. Might lose out on the melees, but I think he should be back in time for the cannon. So on paper, he's losing a plate, but I think he'll be in time for the wave. Caps also has the mid push. Fnatic are going to get collapsed on here. Mickey doesn't have the flash, but neither does Razork.
Trimby, good look for the knock-up here. Caps going forward. Caps able to dodge away from it. Noah popping the Featherstorm in the bottom lane. And there's the Frozen Tomb. And there's Noah being sent packing in the Ark. He's flooded by G2 in the bottom lane. Caps going forward for Trimby. That will be another. One order from Caps would be enough, but Trimby's just left under the tower. The Ring of Frost forward as Razzle falls as well. An accelerated shock blast for an accelerated game here by G2. Wunder TPing in behind the Dominus Popadou, so he's already half HP. Wunder down to 200, Yike trying to escape. Praise Seeker from Hansama. From long range, Wunder and Trimby walk away wounded, and Hansama will not let them escape. Trimby falls for a double-double, and G2 clean up.
G2 is just tearing Fnatic apart. They have no answers, they have no options. Everything they try to do is just dissected by G2, and this all starts with Caps and Yike coming in from mid. Yike has just secured the Herald. He's trying to assist and prevent this potential dive on bot. G2 then sees an opportunity as Noah is isolated. The ultimate doesn't actually get cancelled from Mickey. It just goes on a short cooldown, gets interrupted, can then still use it, and Noah has no way of escaping. G2 then hunt down the jungle and support of Fnatic.
I like what Caps did here. Doesn't go for Trimby. He has the shock blast up. You know what? I'll just turn around and kill Razork. Then
where can he go?
Yeah, he's as good as dead. Humanoid comes in. TP from Wunder was nice, but Wunder's TP stings because he knows Broker Play is just going to get a lot of plates for this and win out the lane, but he has to help his team.
Gets Mickey down, tries to look for Yike alongside Trimby, but he doesn't have the health bar, does he? Caps is fighting off against Humanoid. Hansama has the flash ready, finishes off Wunder, finishes off Trimby. And Fnatic look pretty finished in this game if they can't find a fight soon. See, Broken Blade's gonna kill Wunder here.
Flash forward, there's the Ragnarok, and that Ravenous Hydra is hungry for blood. Wunder down! Broken Blade 2-0.
And that's what happens. He's 700 gold down, Wunder. 400 before the kill. But it's the plates that he got there.
Trimby with a good knock-up. Noah able to dash across the wall. The Nature's Grasp still gets the root. Yike! In the pit, he's going to lock it down. Razork, Noah now with the Frozen 2. Mickey, he's in the midst of 3 and he doesn't give a damn. The unleashed power. Stopped by the stopwatch. Mickey's still able to flash away and dash away. And everything that Fnatic do is met by the unyielding hand of G2.
What can Fnatic do? The answer is watch as their comrades die in battle. Oh, the ultimate forced out from Noah to escape the long-range snipe from the 9-0-1 Huns. Mickey is looking for more.
Noah's dead.
That's an ace, all 5 dead. Fnatic are crumbling at the seams, 13 minutes in, and it's a 9k gold lead. Mickey will pay for it with his life, but complete decimation from G2.
It's ruthless, isn't it? It's just non-stop. Fnatic, it doesn't get any better either. The Rakan's only going to struggle more and more. The Olaf's ahead. They have Poke. They have a 3k gold lead on AD Carry, and we'll look at this again. Fnatic looking for a Dragon, maybe thinking they had some tempo, but yeah, Caps TPs and ignores Midway, pushes Noah out the fight. Razork stuck in the pits with, I think he has flash up, but he's rooted chain CC'd, and Fnatic just run for the hills. They get chased down. Mickey going in. Hans has the killer instinct as well to follow up. The stopwatch prevents all the burst from Humanoid. And it's just an easy cleanup then, isn't it? There's the killer instinct, there's the kills. Humanoid falls, Noah's forced to ult, he dies to Mickey later on. And yeah, it's about an 8 to 9k gold lead I expect now.
I mean, in an interview earlier, we heard from Mickey saying that he feels like that he doesn't do anything particularly impressive, and like this game is a perfect representation of the impressive things that this man does do. His incredibly deep champion pool, the way that they set it all up in draft. Kedra, you talked about it extensively, and it feels like that this game is done and dusted. And if the storyline has continues the way that it has done through season finals, Fnatic will find a way to force us to a game 5. But with a 14-minute, 9,000 gold lead, you feel like the Fnatic is going to have to pull out one hell of a magic trick to slow down this train that is G2.
I just think this Rakan trap was just beautiful. I think Fnatic knew what they were getting themselves into, but they thought they could handle it. Mickey should be all right here. The root doesn't even land. But they knew what they were getting themselves into with this blind pick. Fnatic, their drafting is quite obvious. They've played 10 games in 2 weeks. G2 have all the information they need and all the answers ready. Fnatic need to go out of their comfort zone perhaps, but Mickey
caught out Glacial Path just in time. Once again, the Frozen Tomb stops the unleashed power. Charm coming out by Trimby as Fnatic are desperate for anything. Mickey dodging, but the Ignite will be enough to take him out. In fact, Humanoid the one to take the kill. TP in by Fnatic. They're looking. They've drawn some blood. They're looking for more. Can they find anything? Instead, the TP just for mid-prio there from Wunder.
Wunder's going to lose more and more top. Kind of sucks to be the Renekton right now. He's forced to help his team while Broken Blade can kind of lane 1 versus 0 at times, just knowing that he just has to sit here, do his job, and he gets kills onto Wunder when he falls behind. Caps trying to threaten the bots here too. TP behind from Humanoid. Razork has the ultimate as well. Wunder's there. G2 could get collapsed on. They don't have any TPs of their own.
Noah has the Feather Storm. Caps has to flash away the Weaver's Wand, but great knockback by Yike. The Bramble Smash stopped from Razork from getting too close. Humanoid, though, should be able to take out Caps' seismic shot back, and the Gifted shut down over to Humanoid.
I mean, it's the best play that Fnatic really had. Caps somewhat isolated with Yike trying to provide peel on the bot side. But the problem is Broken Blade is just going to continue to do damage in top lane. Look at Hansama in mid. This is where all your goal difference is sitting right now. 3.5k for Hans, 2.3 now for Broken Blade. And while again, it is a good opportunity to get that kill onto Caps, Noah's barely got more gold than Mickey does.
Oh, it's just incredible from G2 so far. Fnatic still looking for anything they can find, but the killer instinct lives up to his name. Hansama goes legendary. And I feel there's a little bit of vengeance for 6 years ago when Hansama was stopped by G2 here in France from claiming his first LEC title here alongside his comrades in G2.
2017.
Long time ago.
And
back with Misfits.
Yeah, here he is in his peak alongside a lot of other G2 players who feel like they're in their peak right now. This Kai'Sa has 3 items at 17 minutes.
And has a Leandris.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
10, 0, and 1 right now for the G280 carry. Have to give props to Yike and Mickey again, though. Lots and lots of setup for the team. Game 1 was the Yike show as well, with Broken Blade in those fights.
It's so incredible to see the growth that Yike has made, the shoes that he had to fill. Again, like, this game feels like it's done and dusted. We're already thinking about game 3 now, and Fnatic, they're gonna have to do something miraculous, because look at Mickey. Zero has it alone, walking into the enemy jungle, setting up this vision. He's got vision absolutely everywhere right now. If we have an opportunity...
1v1 Razzle.
Yes.
He's Evan Shroud, though. So,
oh, true.
I don't know if he has enough damage. He can be a nuisance.
Won't stop him from trying, I feel.
And now Humanoid's going to get the same treatment he just dished out to Caps. Caps doesn't need a helping hand, though. Another kill for the Dustblade. Jay Smith. And for Fnatic, everything reaches a desperation. Glacial path forward. Trimby has to try and block it, but Mickey doesn't even have to take the E if he decides against it. Noah takes a third of his HP.
Oh, if the next W lands, he's just gonna...
Oh, there goes. Yep, Razzle's now being chipped away at. And G2, well, they have so much time here. They control the bot side of the map. They threaten the bot tier 2. They're happy to sacrifice the tier 1 top lane. This also gives them control over the Dragon. They've left Broken Blade to solo that objective out. Yike is just here covering for Caps. You can also see Mickey hovering off in the wing. The amount of vision control that
Razzle
G2 have.
Razzle doesn't know. Now he does. Knock back into the bot. Flash away. Trimby trying to dash away, but already Razzle's down. And Trimby follows suit, sent to the grave by G2.
G2 have Herald. I've seen them do these kind of things before. If they want to pop it and maybe try and
push
push
right now
for an end. I don't know if
the towers so they can keep the minion alive, but they decide against it. They back away.
Broken Blades.
No TPs on G2. They don't have that ability to...
They're getting greedy here.
In Frozen 2, Mickey low, but the Unleashed Power's been used. Humanoid able to kill him off with the Dark Spirits. Humanoid looks for a little bit more. Caps, Charmed, Quickness going in as Humanoid doesn't really have the spells right now. No cooldowns, and Broken Blade begins to tank the tower in the mid lane. G2 start to retreat, start to back away, maybe a little bit bloodthirsty. Trimby ticking, but not enough as Hunt Summer flashes the wall to escape the clutches of Noah.
Wonder's going to get a top tier 2. His TP's just about to come up. He would have loved to have joined that fight, but that's going to be another objective bounty over to Fnatic. Still,
yeah, the 11k goal difference will go down to 10.
Yeah, no, it ain't much, but it counts. Wonder's doing his best on the side lane.
But you called it right, Kadril. That was a bit cocky from G2. They wanted to go for more. They didn't play it calm and collected there. They were feeling themselves. They saw a clear window to end the game, and Fnatic held the line. They had to burn a decent amount, but at the very least, they'll keep their inhibitor alive.
This Baron's going to spawn and get a surprise when he sees a 3-item Kai'Sa just destroying his health bar. Once that gets forced up, I think that's it. Fnatic will probably try and contest it. You can see Trimby's putting down wards there. If we could look at the top side of the map, there's some sneaky vision that they've gotten down. You know, you put a pink in the pit, you think you've taken away their vision of the Baron, but there's that one over the wall on the left.
There is options here for Fnatic. Are there? Well, yeah, it's they can
run
play
in and
for the
die,
Baron.
run away and die, or...
I didn't say they were good options.
Didn't say they were good options.
Right now, they want to catch this mid wave at the very least.
I mean, the big problem for Fnatic here is they are on a timer because of the Rift Herald pushing in the bottom lane. Right, that Rift Herald will
Slowly
take the inhibitor by itself. It's going to take a while.
Through 3 lanes.
They did this in game 1. Herald bots forced towards Nash, and just the longer it takes, the better. The Fnatic's just going to bleed. And G2 will probably force this up soon. Next midwave's coming in though, so they're going to have to contest this. The poke's going to be...
Trimby. Caps going to go in. Sides against it. Edge of Night on him though. Taken away by the spell shield. Razzle with a good knockback onto Yike. Recall coming out from Mickey.
I mean, the damage has been done, right? They don't need to greed for that kill. They can immediately move back towards the Baron. Trimby is not healthy enough to fight this. Their core engage is now gone. And Fnatic, they can't face check. They've got nothing. This Baron will be secured by G2.
21 minutes in. G2 are 11,000 gold in the lead. They have 3 dragons. They have a Herald pushing in the bot lane. They won't get any further because Noah is here to stop it, but it is... A demolition is putting it lightly.
What is so impressive about what G2 is doing is it's not just a matter of Noah will secure it, but it's not just a matter of Fnatic playing bad and G2 exploiting them. From draft to lane execution to the way in which they're playing this mid game, it's just fantastic League of Legends. G2 feels like a cut above right now. and now it's just a matter of securing that Nexus, unlocking in game 2, bringing us to match point.
I think it's also the discipline at times. Yes, we have seen them get over eager. We saw them at that bot lane inhibitor take a step too far, but here they clear out all the vision behind them, make sure there's no possibility of a TP flank. They have vision on anywhere Trimby could look to get in with a quickness, and then they slowly push in, and then they sink their waves.
G2 looking for the siege here.
Nature's
There's
Grasp.
the ultimate. Where's Hans? When's he gonna dive in?
Killer Instinct on Trimby down to half HP. Glacial path forward, and Trimby's already down. Broken Blade with the Ragnarok can tank that tower for a little bit. G2 will take it out with the seismic shot perfectly timed as the Ragnarok turns out. 1-for-1 so far. Top for support. Noah low. He's gonna have to go back and get some help to rejoin this fight. Glacial path forward once again. The inhibitor tower did fall, but G2 still on the brink of this. We'll see if Fnatic can fight back.
I respect Hans for holding the ultimate. He's just poking away at Fnatic.
Yep.
They're so hesitant about when he's going to pull the trigger.
The poke. It stings so much. Fnatic have no real engage. There it is again.
Killer Instinct.
Ooh, Humanoid. He is being chipped away at by the sapling. And G2 will restrain themselves and go back to base.
And Humanoid has got a decent amount of damage. Noah's got 2 items, but every fight's such a disadvantage. First you have to run away from the Maokai ult, then you've got an Olaf running at you full speed ahead. The Jace poke, the Kai'Sa poke, Hansama's just chipping away at you. And now, as much as they get Trimby and Caps will fall, I believe, or get a lot of damage or he's forced out. Watch Noah here. Watch Noah's HP bar as they go on to BB. That lands, you're out, the fight. The passive's slowly stacked up, you're gone. And so you've killed Olaf, let's try. Okay, well, we have to back away.
Caps looking for Trimby. The rest of Fnatic are closing in. Edge of Night on Caps means that Trimby can't just go in with the quickness. He has to dash away. Mickey Frozen Tomb as the Killer Instinct dashes forward from Hansama already. Razork is down. G2 can look for more, and Broken Blade is ghosting forward. He wants a little bit more of this action. He wants the game to be over. Humanoid nowhere to go. As a mage, what can you do when a man with 2 axes just runs into your face? Broken Blade rooted up, but the Void Seeker just clips the heels of Noah. The Shock Blast will do more than that, though. And the axe in the back is all of that for Fnatic. Wonder, the last man standing.
G2 will chase for the kill as the bot lane will look to end the game. They have the waves, they have the Baron. Sub 25 minutes. This has just been a one-sided demolition from G2.
Can they end with Razork up in 3 seconds, Humanoid in 10, Trimby up as well? Maybe they get one Nexus tower, but Razork could slow this push forward by G2. I think it will just be a single Nexus tower, and they will decide to back away. Wonder pops a stopwatch, able to flash away. He's still keeping all of G2 on a little bit of a merry dance, but that dance is softly split by Caps.
Looking for 3 inhibitors, RG2. Top's already dead, mid's gone, bot's exposed. Waves are coming in, 1 tower left. Caps has TP up soon if he wants to recall and TP in, but I think he's healthy enough for them to look for a push. They can Maokai ult this next wave coming into the Nexus tower, and Fnatic don't really have any flashes to stop it or fight back.
There's the Nature's Grasp. Razork has to flash away, but the tower, the target for G2, Hansama, misses a Void Seeker on a stun target. And that's the worst mistake G2 have made this game, you feel. Mickey knocked back with a seismic shove. The Nexus down to half. Hansama down with the Unleashed power as well. And just as we spoke of discipline from G2, they almost lose it at the Nexus. But they will take it, and they are 1 game away from being season champions.
As always, having a little bit of fun towards the end. They knew it was in the bag. It was a 12,000 gold lead going into that Nexus push. Fnatic are running out of picks. We've seen 2 comfort comps already now with Razork getting the Taliyah, it not working, getting things like the Syndra, the Renekton. Nothing is an answer to G2. I feel like G2 can respond to anything you throw at them in so much better fashion.
I feel like the rosters that have Humanoid on them need Humanoid to be a centerpiece in their success. And G2 are just suffocating him. They're taking his champions away, they're forcing him onto this Syndra, and we see him try to make these plays, but they are just not working.
They really aren't. What can Fnatic do? Will we see our 3rd 5-game series of the weekend? Every other storyline has been 2-0 into 2-2 into 5 games, and I'm hoping to all hell that happens once again. Analysts, take it away.
I don't think it's happening. I don't want to be a party pooper, but oh my God, G2 just looking very, very strong. And I think that was a great summarization there at the end about kind of the importance that Humanoid has to any roster he plays in, but specifically this Fnatic. I think Yamato has outlined this many times before as well, because they play for him, they give him gold later into the game, and they need him to work. But I don't also want to like decimate it to just that. I think Fnatic is all the way out of sorts with what G2 is throwing towards them, rather.
Yeah, I think a lot of the success that we saw coming through from Fnatic over the course of this season finals was that mid-jungle. The fact that Humanoid was able to step up. Razork was having a fantastic time, but it felt like coming into this game, that entirely has just fallen apart. Razork wasn't able to get the leads that we expected from on this Taliyah like we saw from him yesterday. And when you're getting invaded on your top side, nothing is going to go your way if you're already stepping behind from literally 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it just felt like he gets pushed out of the game very early on, and then all of a sudden G2's bot lane is able to just run over Fnatic, right? Like, this is the Lissandra counterpick that we've seen G2 go for in the past, and they walk straight into it, right? The Zyra Khan come in, and then all of a sudden, the 3v2s around bot lane with Yike getting involved, it was just full steam ahead.
Yeah, it's just Humanoid, as much as he is a centerpiece, everything's just falling apart around him. It's just, I feel like he's not really, he's kind of like a victim of what's going on with Fnatic early game. I feel like they're just a little bit way too over-eager. It's just, game one, they've been very active trying to make things happen, and now, just as much, it's just, G2 is just tracking them so well, and Humanoid doesn't really get to have the stable early game where he can come online.
Yeah, and I think a huge portion of that in this game was the fact that you had this, well, Olaf in the top lane was constantly shoving in and immediately going and getting vision into that top side jungle. So it made tracking Razork significantly easier in the early stages. Caps on that AD mid was able to get control against Humanoid. He was constantly coming down onto this bot side to help out, or else preventing Humanoid from being able to support his bot lane. And from that point forward, G2 were just in such a massive position, consistently able to play around this bot side.
Yeah, you know, it's all well and good. Top lane did well, jungle did well, mid lane did well. Hun Sama just killed them. And like, there's just no hope for Fnatic playing against Hans if he is performing like this. He was a menace in the team fights, repositioning forward with the ultimate with the flashes, always catching more on the back of an already won fight.
Yeah,
it's just a lights out for Hans here in France.
I don't know how many kills we had this time, but he has 12 of them. Like, he was 10 and 0
at like 15 minutes.
15 minutes into the game. And I think you have games in which you think, you know, you can counter when a certain carry's fed. Not when he's this fed, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's feeling it. This is prime Hans, you know. When he's feeling it, these are the sort of performances that he's just able to drop on any day.
He's not going to lose on home turf again.
No way.
I mean,
no way.
We're not jinxing it. I don't think it's like one of those that feels so crazy. And I know the casters talked about, we've seen the 5-game series. We've seen the fake reverse sweeps actually twice in a row now. Do you feel it in the air for Fnatic at all? Do they have any of that magic that they've shown us in the season finals, that Grinta up until now?
Yeah, I think they have it in them, because it's a little bit odd, because we've been always saying to Fnatic, even in the pre-game segment, we need them to match G2 in the early game. But I feel like now they're kind of taking it a little bit too far. I feel like in game one they've been, you know, they've been trying to do this bot lane gank.
Yeah, like a level 2, right?
Yeah, it's just, I feel like they're not doing their setups properly level 1, and then they're kind of overreaching. I would really love them to kind of do what they did yesterday. Yesterday we saw, you know, stable games. Razor bringing out Taliyah, bringing out Karthus, having slow games where he can just cycle this full clear into full clear, and then everything comes online and alive at like 5-6 minutes, and then everyone's ready to play. But I feel like right now, it seems maybe pressure is getting a little bit to them, but it feels like they're trying to trade blows in the early game against G2 when they don't really need to do it, because I feel like G2, these two games, they have just been punishing mistakes, you know, in great fashion. You know, the way they use their vision early game, level 1, keeping track of Razork everywhere. It's just a very big difference compared to what Fnatic is doing level 1, because I feel like they're not active enough level 1 to set up for these stable early games, and it shows.
And they're really showing their hand early, right? In this game, it was Razork sitting on that ward for a good 20 seconds before he realized he was on a ward, and that's what ends up leading to the invade. Here we have it, just trying to set up for that gank, and that's what you're saying is, after going for the bot lane gank in game 1, the gank here in game 2, he gets invaded and punished. The top lane priority is just perfect from G2 to play around that, and G2 are always at their best when they're abusing their lane cryo to set up Yike to invade. Since day 1 of the winter split, this is how they've been playing, and they destroy Razork in game 2 with it.
But that's the thing, their vision control has been next to none this entire way through the series. We think back to game 1, the reason they could make that bot lane play work was red buff, blue buff, we've got wards on both, and we're just going to go right. Well, now we know exactly where Razork's playing. He's split the map. We're going to try and play around this bottom side, make sure we're in a position to cover it. This game from level 1, they had like 4 wards spread out around the map. One was on the blue buff on top side as well. So they're just operating with full envision.
Are you calling the Fnatic players for?
Oh my
Wow.
I said about Mad Lions yesterday, probably.
Oh my god. Anyways.
And
That's wild.
I hate it.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the stylistical difference between game 1 and game 2 between the junglers, because it feels like they they traded roles. In game 1, we saw Yike being very, very active, skipping camps with Rel, finding plays left and right. And now in this game, Yike, it felt like he was the one who was taking his time, doing full clears, trying to get himself ahead. Tracking Razork everywhere he goes. So it felt like they're just in control, and it all goes back to that level 1. So I'm really, really interested to see how this jungle dynamic is going to shape up going into game 3.
We'll see. Fnatic have selected red side. That is, in fact, the first time in the season finals that a team, when they have the side
selection.
Oh, it's dropping.
There we go. There you go.
It's rubbing off on
It's going to be me next.
Side selection. They moved to that red side willingly.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I feel like this almost has to be trying to set up for a counter pick, obviously, somewhere, right? I think in mid lane, they've been getting the Syndra twice in a row now. It hasn't felt like that's been a huge advantage for them. In this game, of course, they get run into the R3 Olaf, which proved to be a very big issue. So maybe trying to sidestep that here in game 3.
Yeah, I think it's I think going to actually be going down towards the bot lane. I think the fact that we've kind of seen Trimby hasn't had the best of times here at the moment, even having Lissandra come out as the counter pick, I think they baited out the Zyra Khan really well, and I think they don't want to get caught by it again. And even then on 2-3 as well, there's a lot of power picks in the meta at the moment. They're actually seeing teams starting to get a few, like on those 2-3 rotations. Yes, you might get a Rel, but oftentimes there's good responses that can come through. So I think Fnatic just trying to get something that can actually suit them better coming into this.
Yeah, usually when a team goes red side, it's kind of a symptom where they don't really have, their first pick is not working. They can't really get a power pick that can, you can put all the eggs in that basket and be like, okay, this power pick is going to carry us the game. It felt like when you go red side, you force enemies to blind pick something. You get to better lane matchups, better jungle situation where you can create something and have more stable early games. But now it feels a little bit like desperation, but it might also just be like, we can get better stuff. Razork is more comfortable having this sort of lane, so I'm curious to see.
That's what I was going to say, is like, because you're right, like first pick, maybe they go away from the Taliyah, even though it's been so good for him. Maybe he needs something that he wants to fight more in the early game, because they have the option. Do they full clear like you were talking about and look to stabilize early, play scaling with Razork, or do they just try to fight harder and all in? Because it seems very clear that was the read they had at the start of the day, is we want to disrupt early on.
Yes, and we'll see if they can disrupt G2 at all. It's Caps just leisurely on his way to a 10th title. It's Hansama with his eyes on the prize in terms of getting that trophy on home soil. And yeah, they've had a lot of finals, and the last 2 finals between G2 and Fnatic were in fact a 3-0. Yeah, how could Fnatic stop the streak? Can they?
It's going to be so tough for them, right? They have to be able to find some way to disrupt. For me, I think they need to look around mid lane and jungle and get that gear working for them again. That has been such a power point for them throughout the season finals. If they can tap into that and attack the man you see on your screen here, tear that trophy out of his goddamn hands and bring it back.
Yeah, to jump on that, I think that's the way to go, but it might be, again, just full clear, bro. Just do full clear. just full clear. Keep the game stable.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Just full clear.
Yeah, that's what worked for them. So just go back to it.
In fact, full clear the whole season finals and win that trophy. Maybe. Hopefully we get 5 games. It's going to be so tough. We'll see if Fnatic can bounce back after this.
Trade back in. I don't really think they have the damage to make it goes forward. No, it was a big cleanse. Flash away with the killer instinct from Hansama. The French Phenom.
See, Broken Blade's gonna kill Wunder here.
Flash forward. There's the Ragnarok, and that Ravenous Hydra is hungry for blood. Wunder down. Broken Blade 2-0.
Okay. Go ahead, yeah. I'm dead. With the thing. Any hitters? Any hitters? Hitters? Bro, you guys are trolling. Guys, you guys are dogs!
The wait is finally over. To witness the most legendary team of all time take on Europe's finest. This is...
이거 재밌겠는데?
2, 1, 0.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112,
league of its own.
Each game is inspired by movement. The drive is to be one move ahead of everyone else, to be legendary. Are you ready to make your move? Make it legendary. Join Kia at the League of Legends EMEA Championship.
Kia, movement that inspires.